this notion of staying in your own lane, close your ears to that, because you can get in any lane that you want to. That's about growth and opportunity. And when people tell you to stay in your own lane, they're really trying to suppress the gifts that you've been given. You are not just a one-trick pony. You have the opportunity to explore, and that is why they have numerous lanes. It's so that you can pass when someone won't let you by. And what I would say is reject that and then follow the spirit inside of you and make sure that that spirit has a light so that you can see.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of the peopleHum interview series. This is your host Ayushi at peopleHum. peopleHum is an end-to-end, one-view, integrated human capital management automation platform. It's also the winner of the 2019 Global Cody Awards for HCM, that's specifically built and crafted for employee experiences and the future of work. So we at peopleHum, we run a blog and a channel that receives more than 2 lakh visitors a year. And we also try and publishing several interviews with well-known names globally every month. So an award-winning senior executive, we are pleased to welcome our guest, Jacque Rushin today. She holds expertise in holistic contact center development and management, strategy development, sales, talent recruitment, D&I, digital transformation, non-profit leadership, global customer experience, and deployment of technology solutions to corporate and consumer customers across multiple industries. She's also a creative thought leader with proven skills in building healthy cultures that foster collaboration, innovation, growth, successful achievement, engagement, and personal business goals. She's also a life coach and a connector of people who infuse strong business acumen to design and deliver winning solutions for the most complex business problems. She's a courageous diversity engagement leader who is known for honest dialogue and the ability to help clients design and incorporate practices to foster an inclusive culture. So Jacque, it's my pleasure to welcome you on the peopleHum blog series today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
So Jacque, my first question for you is, so what do you think is a healthy culture which fosters collaboration, innovation, growth, successful achievement of personal and business goals? So what does all this look like for you?
That is a very good question, and I get that a lot. And to me, a healthy culture is one where all of your people are healthy, from a perspective of being included in the workplace, knowing that they have a place where they belong and where respect reigns supreme. And what that really means is they are included, their talents are included, they are valued. They are not traumatized in the workplace. They are not discriminated against, and their opinions matter. And they know that they matter. And so when you see all of that working together, you see a lot of collaboration, innovation, and an intolerance for hurting people. These are adult people who come to work. They're professionals. They are educated with many years of experience. And so they deserve respect. And so for me, a healthy culture is when the DNA and when the ambiance of the corporation is healthy.
Yes, I totally agree. And that's a wonderful answer. And mental wellness and belongingness in a company really matters. So wherever you are, in whichever corner of the world, I think your employees need to engage and they need to belong to the company, because if they do not feel belonged to the company, I think their entire charm of working hard goes away.
Exactly. And your customers also know too, because whatever they are feeling, it will transcend to the customer. And that's actually how you give your brand life, is you give your people life.
That's absolutely true. I love that quote, and I am surely going to take this forward in my life, and peopleHum is really going to access the quote with high activity. So moving to the next question, Jacque. It says that you have done many impressive things in your career, and I'm very sure that you take immense pride in your past role as a non-profit leader. And so can you tell us something more about it, how it was to be a non-profit leader?
So I've had the opportunity to serve on several boards of directors as well as in my own nonprofit. So I was president or chair of Women in Technology, which is a large technology organization comprised of leaders and professionals in Georgia. I have been on the advisory board for Project Healthy Grandparents, which I absolutely adore because they saw the need for a new generation of parenting where older Americans or grandparents were raising their children, but there was no way, they didn't have the skills needed to be able to do that because, as you know, raising kids when they were raising their children is totally different now. And so this organization focuses on the mental health of the grandparents.
Yes.
And currently I am the chair for a nonprofit called Be Active. I've been doing that for about the past 3 years. And I really work with them also from a strategic perspective in helping them to identify their markets and to design it in a way and to approach it from a business perspective so that they can get, funding and those types of things, and making sure that everything is cohesive when we are presenting ourselves. And then finally, I have my own nonprofit called Yam House, which I've had for many years. And the focus of it is to provide a place for homeless people. So I've let college students stay there for free. I've let, people who had a daughter and son live there because most places won't let the mother bring her son with them. And so I've allowed this as well. So whatever, anytime you're dealing with improving the lives of people, it just brings me so much joy.
Yes, that is wonderful. Working in so many nonprofit organizations just gives us the courage to go and help people out when we see someone so inspiring in front of us. And also, I would like to add up on what you said is, so there are many nonprofit organizations which take care of homeless people, as you said, and they do not let the mother bring the child to work. So that is amazing as a nonprofit organization to help a mother who probably is the whole and soul of the house. Probably she's the only person who has been earning and working for the house. And for her to manage the house, manage the kids, and the job as well becomes really difficult. So such nonprofit organizations have to be built everywhere so that every mother can stand against a child, for her child.
Yes. So that piece of it as well is more also about homeless women where shelters will not take them with a son, especially when the sons are a certain age. And so the services that we were able to bring is to enable that. And even if, it's for a short period of time, but it gives them an opportunity to have shelter, to have safety, to have food, and a place to lay their head so that they can think about the next steps and to connect them with services where people can help them.
That's amazing. That's really, I love what you do. And nonprofit organizations are something which I really adore, and I love helping people out. And I'm very sure that very soon, I hope we as a company also come up with some digital platform which helps nonprofit organizations to reach a certain height.
Yes, yes.
So Jackie, moving on to our third question. So as a diversity and engagement leader, an honest dialogue is definitely something to be cherished. So how does that help when it comes to helping clients from a more inclusive work culture?
Well, honesty is the key. My clients really like that about me because they know that they're going to get the truth. When I was a child, I loved fairy tales because they always had a message. And this brings to mind one of my favorites, which is The Emperor's New Clothes. And that fairy tale is about an emperor who had a tailor come in to build him or to make him the most beautiful, beautiful clothing. And so the thing is that the tailors were really fooling him, that they were not really making him clothes, but they had fooled him that they were. And so they would measure him, they would try it on him, and he would look at himself. He knew he was naked, but he didn't want to admit he was naked. And so he also fawned and, just said, oh, this is wonderful. Well, here's the thing. The people around him knew he was naked, but they would not tell him because they were afraid to tell him. In a DEI role, because I am very serious about helping people and helping organizations to grow, I tell the truth because I can back up the truth. I can't make up stuff that's dealing with human beings. And organizations really should be able to do a better job at dealing with human beings, because at the end of the day, that's what their business is about. Their customers are diverse. Their suppliers are diverse. So, and their teams in many instances are diverse. They may not be as diverse as I would like to see them, or many people would like to see them, but they are diverse. The other piece of that is, even if you take diversity out and you think about inclusion, a lot of people don't work to include people because they value certain positions above others, when in reality, it takes every organizational role to make that organization work. That's why you have it. So yeah, I think honesty is the first thing that I have to lead with. And that also shows my respect for them, because I want to see them win.
Yes, that's amazing. I love your approach towards organizations and the way you think honesty is one key policy, because wherever you go, honesty is always going to bring you further in life. Because not saying the truth, and sometimes, being making up stories is sometimes going to obviously make you fall down. Because if you're saying the truth and people know what your real intention is, they will always help you out. But when you're lying to them and you're making things up, there are many a times, as the story of the sheep and the sheep man, in which they say that the sheep man called out to the village several times saying that there's a fox who has come to eat my sheep. But when it actually came, nobody believed him. Mm-hmm. So just because he was making things up, it got really, really bad for him towards the end of the story, because all the sheep were eaten up.
Right. Yes. Also, I focus a lot on explicit biases. I know it's fashionable to talk more about unconscious bias, but I think if organizations can take and look at the biases that they see and work on those, they can improve a lot in their corporations. Unconscious bias is like a mental thing that you have to get down into the spirit and the soul and the thoughts of people. You don't have enough time to do that in 90 minutes, and organizations are not designed to actually do that. Mm-hmm. So you have to make sure that you are enforcing your principles, that you maintain ethics, because we talk about DEI, but why really do we have that? It is because we have forgotten about business ethics. And that is all about treating people with respect, being inclusive, letting people know that they're important, letting your clients know they're important, letting your suppliers know that they're important to this process.
Totally. I totally agree with you, Jackie, on that. And client experience and employee experience for an organization is really, really important, because if the client does not feel belonged to the company, the client might not come back running to the company. It might go to another competitor. And even if the employee does not feel belong to the company, his mental state will be affected at that level, that probably the work he delivers will not be accurate.
Mm-hmm. Agree. Absolutely.
That's great, Jackie. So moving forward to our next question. Jackie, could you tell us something about Rich Rush Business Consulting and your time there as the COO?
My partner, Jan Richardson, and I came together. We actually met in our AT&T days. And from there, we always said that we were going to do some type of business together because we were we so admired each other from a business perspective and also a personal perspective. So I not only call her colleague, I call her friend. But what we saw was a gap in terms of business initiatives from a strategic perspective. A lot of times people would spend, many, many hours coming up with strategies, but they never executed against them. And so we help companies to not only define their strategies, but make sure or ensure that their goals are aligned with achieving, that the strategies are aligned with them achieving their business goals. We do a lot of that. And then from a DEI perspective, that has been pretty big for us lately. I do exactly what I just explained to you, which is to work with clients and be their truth.
That's amazing. I love your approach towards your co-founder and also towards the person you're working with in the company. It's not like you're working with some partner. It's like working with a family member.
Yes. Mm-hmm. That's a good family member.
Absolutely. That's amazing. So Jackie, moving forward to our last question for today. What is one particular career advice that was given to you, which you might want to pass on to our interviewers and listeners for today?
I would say this notion of staying in your own lane, close your ears to that. Because you can get in any lane that you want to. That's about growth and opportunity. And when people tell you to stay in your own lane, they're really trying to suppress the gifts that you've been given. You are not just a one-trick pony. You have the opportunity to explore, and that is why they have numerous lanes. It's so that you can pass when someone won't let you by. And what I would say is reject that and then follow the spirit inside of you and make sure that that spirit has a light so that you can see.
That's a wonderful advice and a wonderful answer. I think all our listeners today are going to be really, really taking this in their lives, because a lot of people we see start with somewhere else and are always diverging their lanes. And there are a lot of people telling them, you've done this, and why are you diverging your lane? But if that person has confidence in himself and is very sure that this is what I'm going to do and I'm not going to listen to everybody else, I'm very sure that person will be able to reach his goal always in his life.
Yes.
Absolutely, Jackie. That's wonderful. It was really, really nice talking to you. It was always great talking to powerful women who are as inspiring as you. And I really want to thank you, not just for your insight, but also for taking the time. I personally view this conversation as a learning experience, and I'm sure it's safe to say that so does everybody else.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed this and always appreciate an opportunity to be able to talk about these types of things because it's so important. And thank you for the work that you do.
Thank you so much for your time, Jackie.